Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy KillamanBaby here, bringing you guys a brand new video. And today we're going to be doing a review on the Division 2. It's been about a week, well, a week tomorrow, since the game has been out. And I thought that this was like the most time to kind of play the game, really see what it's about, and see, you know, how is it compared to like the first game, what improvements have they made. And then it'll just give me a more thorough look at the game total and be able to give you guys a better, I don't know, perception of the game. So starting it off, the Division 2 essentially takes place in like the spring / start of summer, I don't know, basically like the springtime. So the first game was set in winter, and it's located in Washington, D.C., and basically you're trying to take back the city and you're trying to recover from the first game. The first game was more about just fighting off the disease and fighting off the bad guys and stuff that were just coming up after the disease had just broke out. And this game's more about, all right, rebuilding, and how can we fix DC and make it better. So in my opinion, the campaign is kind of crappy, and this is no different from the first game. The only reason why I say that is because in a looter shooter, I feel like a lot of the times, or at least this is for me, I got caught in, I just want to get loot. I want to get level 30 as fast as I can. I'm just trying to level up, and honestly, I wouldn't really listen to much of the story. I'll just be like, all right, you know, I paid attention to what some things were going on, but really you just kind of want to get through. And I'm not going to blame that totally on the developers of the game. You know, it's not easy to make a looter shooter story that's really good. But, you know, it's all right. It's just something that you don't really pay much attention to. So if you're looking at this game for the story, which most people probably aren't, then this isn't going to be the game for you. I can tell you right off the bat. The story is very bland in a sense. So the next thing we're going to talk about are the weapons. Now, there are a variety of weapons in this game, guys. I think it might be bigger than the last one. I don't know. But there are some very cool weapons. Assault rifles, I'll tell you right off the bat, are probably going to be your best option, just overall. But there are definitely a lot of weapons. You know, I see people using many different things. Shotguns are one variant that I probably wouldn't say is the most popular. But everything else I see used widely, and I think that they did a good job in this game with making a ton of different weapons. There's rifles, marksman rifles, snipers, ARs, LMGs, submachine guns. There's such a big variety of guns, guys, and I think that really helps out with players with different play styles. So there's always going to be a gun for you to be able to find in this game. As you can see here, I'm using the ACR, which I love, but there are definitely a gun for every person, no matter what your play style is. So the next thing, and probably the most important thing that you guys are wondering, is the end game. So I am level, like, my gear score is like 450. Of course, I'm level 30. So I've played a decent amount of the end game, and I actually haven't done like many of the Black Tusk missions. But essentially, what Black Tusk is, so once you beat the game, there's a new faction that kind of takes over everything that you already did, and you kind of just have to fight this group back off, and it opens up a whole new storyline essentially, because now you're facing a whole entire new faction that you didn't see in the previous like continuous game, and you don't see them till the end game. So they did a really good job putting in another enemy that allows the story to really continue and gives you more of that push factor. Adding to that, you have gear score, and tiers. So basically, get into the gear score. The higher gear score you have, basically the more powerful you are, you know, typical. But the tiers work in a different way. So essentially what you have to do is you have to complete these missions at the end game. So the end game isn't like, oh, you know, you've beaten the game and now we're going to give you all these missions and none of them are really meaningless. You don't have to do them. You know, you can just go in the dark zone or whatever. No, like these missions you pretty much have to do, because the only way you can unlock things like the strongholds is you have to complete the missions in that area. So it really makes you play the game more, which is really good. It doesn't let you just skip whatever you want to skip. Like, you pretty much have to complete these Black Tusk missions. So I think that developers did a really good job at doing that. and it really keeps the player involved in the game. And even though that, like I said, the storyline isn't great, it's still interesting. I know when I was playing it and I got to endgame, I was like, are you serious? A whole new faction just came over and just destroyed everything, or took over all we have. And the enemies, guys, I'll tell you right now, the enemies in this game are so unique. They're way cooler from the ones in the last game. You got emulsifiers, which are guys that shoot like this bubbly stuff and it gets you stuck, as you've seen it a couple times in this video so far. And the enemies are just really cool, guys. They did a great job at adding different variants. There's a chainsaw guy, you got a death machine guy, so a lot of those big ass enemies and it's just really funny to, you know, go against them, even though they're a pain in the ass, but they did a really good job with that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the Dark Zone. Now, I've been into the Dark Zone East, I believe, so I haven't been in all of them, so I can't truly speak on it. But one thing that is totally different from the first game is that the Dark Zones are separated. Like I said, there's a Dark Zone East, Dark Zone West, and Dark Zone South, I do believe. And it's not like the first one where they were all connected in this big ginormous part of the map. And in my opinion, I'm not a big fan of how they separated it, simply because when you separate PvP areas like that, you kind of get this divide, and alright, maybe more people want to go to this area because they like the landscaping better, and they like it just has more to offer in terms of enemies, or there's maybe better loot locations, things like that. And I think that varies it a little too much, and that's why I like the first one a lot, because you had this entire part that was the Dark Zone. And I think that also limits the action. When I walked into the Dark Zone, guys, I haven't been in there a lot. I'm gonna start throughout this weekend and in the next week going in the Dark Zone and making a ton of content, trying to find some people and go rogue or whatever, but I couldn't find any players. I was like, come on, like, I'm pretty sure the player count is, I believe, 12. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below. But I was like, all right, they have to fix that. 12 players just isn't enough. And I get that's a smaller area, but I want action. And I was very disappointed when I couldn't find any action in there. And that's another thing. To unlock the Dark Zones Black Tusk, I believe you have to complete the entire storyline in order to unlock the other two. There's a total of 3, like I said, east, south, and then west. But like I said, the Dark Zones, I'm not a huge fan so far. Hopefully they get better. And you know, it's definitely early. I mean, it's a week into the game. You can't expect everybody to have the gear and stuff. I know I didn't touch the Dark Zone till I hit endgame, because I knew if I went in there before, I would probably get smacked, even though I'm not sure if there's skill based or whatever, but I just didn't want to touch it because I knew I wasn't ready for it. So that was that. So basically, going down to like the final thoughts about this game, I love this game. You could say I'm a little biased because I really like the first one, even though some people didn't like it, but I really like this game so far. I've been playing it with some friends nonstop. I think it has a lot to offer. There's definitely a lot of things to do. Very unique with the special weapons that they put in, as you see me using this crossbow right here, and it's just pretty cool. I think that they did a lot of improvements. Essentially what Division 2 is, I almost said Destiny, the Division 2 is the first game, just fix all the quirks, and they just added a whole new map, and that's basically what it is. It's like a reincarnation of it. It's just back and better. It's, you know, and I think that's a good thing. I don't see that as being bad. It's still definitely unique from the first game. So I would really advise you guys to definitely try this game out. I think if you like looter shooters, you will really like this game. There is so much when it pertains to gear sets, and there's so many different stats in the game. It really gets you involved, and you really have to pay attention. It's not basic, oh, this gear is, like you see here, this gear is high end, I'm just going to put it on because it's a high end. And no, you really have to pay attention to all the stats. As you can see here, I'm really like analyzing it, seeing which ones have what attributes to offer, things like that. And it's just really unique. And I think that's where the Division 2 really separates itself from a lot of other looter shooters. Yeah, that's about it. If I were to rank this game out of 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. I'd probably give it about a solid 8.5 to 9. The reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is just like I said, the Dark Zone isn't really the best, and the campaign isn't that great. But definitely try this game. I feel like looter shooters, guys. You will really enjoy this game. I think it has a lot to offer, and it's pretty cool. So definitely expect me to put a lot of videos on the channel around the Division 2. Probably do some tips and tricks and things like that. And just pretty much whatever. Hopefully I'm not sick for the next couple of days, so I don't sound shitty on the mic or whatever. But yeah, guys, that's about it. If you enjoyed it and you learned something, and this hopefully, gave you a little bit of help in deciding whether you want to try this game out or not, leave a like and subscribe down below. I'm gonna have a lot of videos, like I said, on this game, kind of like guiding players and this and that. So definitely check this out if you like looter shooters. Comment, let me know what you guys want to see on this game. And yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this review. My name is KillamanBaby, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.